Good morning, everyone. Walter Parks, Hymns and Hollers. We visit again. It's probably been 4 years or so. And the reason for my coming back onto the airwaves is that I need to have something productive and creative to do in a way of reaching y'all. During the next month, I'm going to be having hand surgery, and I won't be able to play. That happens next week in New York, and so the playing that I'm doing right now is the last playing that I'll be doing for about a month and a half. And so, like you, probably, perhaps, I'm going to be looking for new creative ways to express myself and to keep feeling alive. And so I got a lot of things to talk about regarding the creative adventure, but I'll start with a new song. I'm coming to you today from St. Louis, Missouri, and this is my office, and I can't say enough about the importance of a office and a studio where I want to work, and I urge you to do the same for yourself. Set up something that you want to show up in, and roll up your sleeves and to be productive in. This is a new song that I wrote right here. It's about these times, and I'll elaborate a little bit more after I play it. So we're having a little bit of challenges with our board. We're going to take the effects off here, or put the effects in, and we can't hear the effects. So y'all let us know what it sounds like. This is one called What Are We Afraid Of? I can feel the morning coming in before the rays do. Don't you hear the robins calling through the haze too? There's so much promise and there's so much time. Your day is yours, mine is mine, and if this beauty has a cost, then nothing's ever lost. Oh, look, the sun has topped the old oak tree. It's shining bright, its possibilities. Casted branches dance a rhythm on the ground. This is the moment when the robins settle down, and as the shadows fade to green, can you say nothing's as it seems? What are we afraid of? 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 Freedom passengers say the same tracks. They smoke and leave, it's quiet till they come back. Mothers rush to make the school bells toll. Fathers hammer to the rock and roll. I'm interrupted by industrious buzz. We play along, that's what security does. Second guessing in the noon of our lives. We bask and simmer in the afternoon's prize. There are so many things we've done, but it's so hard to say what we've become. pink and silver dim tonight. The blue in embers bring us perfectness. We don't remember, so we take our rest until it's said and done. We sing when there's no more to take. We bring. What are we afraid of? 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 Yeah. I was happy with that. Made one snafu, but that's the nature of live recording and live producing. Can y'all let us know what it sounds like? Maybe people are chiming in. We can't hear the effects as it goes out to y'all, meaning the reverb. I call it showbiz, and I learned that term when I was living in Nashville. We're coming up on St. Patrick's Day. I'm not going to do anything cliche as to play an Irish song. I might play something that's of Irish origin. Instrumentally, I'm not going to do anything cheesy like Danny Boy or whatever. Don't do anything cheesy. I want you to come to me for advice. You know, people don't like, or they say that you shouldn't give unsolicited advice. Consider this solicited advice whenever you're listening to me. And if you don't like it, you don't have to listen to me. What I'd like to do in my time with you for the next month and a half and beyond, if we go beyond, is to share my experiences. I want to share my process. A lot of you seem to want to know more about my process. I have fans and people who are into what I do all over the country, all over the world for that matter. I'm very grateful to all of you. And I want to stay in touch with you. But I don't, I'm not always able to share music. And like I said, in the next month and a half, I'm going to be not making any music per se, because I'll be having hand surgery. I want y'all to see I've got one of these crooked fingers, and it didn't happen by just genetics or something. I was walking my dog in the ice, and when I was a child, I learned how to fall and catch myself. Well, I caught myself. I kept myself from breaking my hip, but unfortunately, I pulled a tendon, just ripped it straight from the bone. So last year, about this time, I had hand surgery, and it held. The repair held, but something else on the opposite side of my finger gave way. So we've got to address that for good balance. So I'm going to be in New York all this coming week. If you're listening in time with this broadcast, which I think we're looking at May 15th today in 2026, it doesn't matter if you tune in later. We're coming up on St. Patrick's Day, and that's the reason I wore my green blazer. I only wear this on St. Patrick's Day. And so yes, I've broken my rule. Don't do anything cliche. Sometimes I think it's okay. You just don't want to bore people. If you're going to do something cliche, try to do something different with it. We all speak in cliches. We speak the way our parents spoke and the way their parents spoke, and we just go through life, I think, sometimes just reading our own plots, reading it's like we're reading from our own cliff notes, and I think we owe it to our lives and our Creator, or however we got here, um, a little bit of attention to the moment. Yes, okay, I sound serious and I sound preachy, but I don't give a damn. I mean, that's what I'm going to be doing, is sharing with you my process. So here's why I wore the green jacket. I was in the store last year. I always go in and shop for jackets, and they always have new things. And I think from my formative years in Jacksonville, Florida, of playing what we call club dates. They're really not club gigs, but they're club dates is what musicians call playing private parties and that sort of thing. Bar mitzvahs, corporate parties, weddings. I got used to wearing tuxedos, and I love dressing up. And so I'm always looking for a cool, interesting jacket. So they had a rack, and there was my size. I think I wear a 42 long or something like that. And I saw this red velvet jacket, and I saw this green one, and I knew I was going to buy the red one. And the green one I was on the fence about. And so up comes two people. They were both female. One was white, one was a black woman, and the black woman was in training, and the white woman was her manager, and she was dutifully trying to teach the other woman how to sell, how to deal with customers, and this is one of my favorite moments recently, and. The white woman, the white and black doesn't matter, except for the payoff to this story will probably help. And yes, we don't need to identify people with their skin color. I'm aware of that, but just hold on, wait for the payoff. And so anyway, the store manager, let's call her the personnel manager, she was saying, she was dealing with me, and she said. Yeah, those fit you perfectly. Those fit you nicely, and I knew they fit me perfectly. In other words, she was talking in cliches, and cliches annoy me. And I was hoping for something better. I was hoping for fit perfectly. As that's subjective anyway. Is it long enough? Does it catch your eye? Does it? Now this is something only I can gauge. Does it make me feel a certain way? Does it make me feel awkward? Does it bring too much attention to me? Those sorts of things. Does it look natural? Does it feel natural? And I said, I really like the red one. I'm on the fence about the green one. And then the store manager, the lady who was training the other potential employee, said, well, how does it make you feel? What do you feel? I said, I kind of feel like a pool table. I feel really like I'm in a bar ready for people to entertain themselves with, and then the lady who was training the employee turns to the employee who could possibly get the job. She said, "What do you think?" And the employee says, the potential employee says, she goes, "Well, I'd climb on up in there and play some pool." She looked at me, raised an eyebrow, and she said, "I like that jacket. I'd climb on up in there and play some pool." I just love that. And the lady who was training the potential employee was just aghast. She turned whiter than what she already was. And I died laughing like I just did. And I said, "Sold." And because I knew that potential employee was going to be in trouble. I knew that something was going to come down on her, and I thought, what can I do to save this woman? I mean, that was a brilliant response. I mean, she didn't hold back at all. She was just so wonderfully honest. Yeah, we can't always be honest in our dealings with the world. Sometimes it shoots us in the foot. And this woman, she to the wrong client, potential to the wrong customer, that would have been a death blow. But to me, I just thought, gosh, that was amazing. I'd climb on up in there and play some pool. And anyway, it was a great moment. The jacket was, well, hey, I'm wearing the jacket, so it worked. Sadly, I never saw the trainer or the trainee ever again. But maybe their hours are just different than the hours that I come in. So let me tell you about the guitar that I played. This is an interesting piece. Can you all see? I want you to see the headstock to that. And a lot of people are wondering, what the heck is that thing? Look at this thing. I'm going to get it up to the camera. This is a Telecaster that I painted because it was already. I only modify guitars if they're already pre-ravaged, and and I love to get guitars that are in terrible shape so I can do my thing with them. So this one was I got it from James Mastro in Jersey City. He has a great store, two stores called the Guitar Bar, and I've been going to him for years. James Mastro plays guitar for a lot of greats. I don't know what he's doing right now. He used to be in the Bongos. He occasionally plays when they reunite. He plays with Alejandro Escovedo. He's touring with Marshall Crenshaw actually, and he's got a concert series called The Social in Hoboken, where I'm going to be playing in May. And anyway, great guy, great guitar player. He's got a record out on Empress Records. Check his stuff out. He played with Ian Hunter for years. All right, enough about James. He sold me what used to be this guitar, and then I didn't think it was a vintage piece, and but it had already been all messed up, and so my father passed away about 7 years ago, and because we're coming up on my father's birthday, I'm playing this guitar, and I wanted to just share it with you. My father was a model railroader. He just, that was his happy place. That was his personal church, so to speak. That's before we called them man caves. My father had a room where he had HO gauge trains, and he would modify them to his liking, put the correct rails on them, put the correct decals on them, paint them correctly, and if the headlights were not exactly what the Southern Railroad had in the field in reality, he would modify the headlamps. I mean, to that degree of detail. But he would paint his trains with these little testers models and these specific enamel, meaning oil-based enamel paints. And when he passed away, I got all of his paints, and I eventually did something with these paints, and this is what I did with them. I loved. I like Piet Mondrian's work, and Mondrian is a modern artist, and so I call this my Telecaster Mondrian. And you're not supposed to paint guitars with model railroad paint. But this one has a vibe. I painted it. It was shiny and really kind of perfect looking, and then I thought, I'm sick of this, and I put a little lacquer thinner on it. I was going to take it all off, and as I just whispered on the finish with the lacquer thinner. The lacquer thinner started to make the paint bubble. And I thought, ooh, I like that. Then I hit it with a heat gun, and it bubbled more. And I said, I like that even more. So I just stopped right there, put a clear coat on it, and there it is. And I got I'm getting geeky with y'all. So I know there's guitar players who listen to me. This thing is totally modified to my liking. The folks at Klein Guitar here in St. Louis actually put this together and set it up for me. It sat around in my workshop for about 3 years, and that's long enough. I don't want to look at something in disrepair for too long. So I got them to put it together for me. It's not a Fender. I got an old neck. It was a Fender parts neck, but it's not really a Fender, so I didn't want to create a fake guitar. So I put my father loved the Southern Railroad, so I got a Southern Railroad decal. Can y'all see that? And I put it up there. And to guitar purists, that would be a sacrilege, but it's not the real thing. It's not the real thing, but it's to my liking. And for guitar players out there, my favorite neck feel. And if you're not a guitar player, at least the takeaway that you can get from this is that I'm passionate about it. So can transfer this to y'all's lives. If you're writers or dancers or if you're chefs, whatever, just know that I'm passionate about this, and I put time into my passion, and I modify things to my liking in much the same way that my father used to modify his railroad cars. I wish I had a railroad car here for you to show you, but are y'all still with me out there? It's so hard just talking to the camera. Well, it's not hard, it's challenging because I don't know who's listening, but we'll talk about that in a second. So going on geeky stuff about the guitar neck, my favorite neck feel is a 59 Les Paul. So this is a Fender Telecaster, and I had it custom cut like a 59 Les Paul. And so it doesn't feel like most Telecasters. So it really has a Gibson feel to it, but it's a Telecaster neck. And then Lindy Fralin down in Richmond did these pickups. It is wrong. It's actually in the Bible in let's see, what would it be? First Riffians 3 point I don't know 12:8. First Riffians, in the book of Riffians 12 verses 12:8, the Bible talks about this. Do not replace do not put a pickup here that's not a Telecaster pickup. If you have a Telecaster, the wonder of a Telecaster is that it has this particular kind of pickup in the bridge. Do not replace it. It's against the teachings of the Lord. You can do anything else. So I've got Stratocaster pickups here that Lindy Fralin. So this is kind of a mix of a Stratocaster and a Telecaster. And the Lord approves of that on Sunday morning. But he does not approve of the Telecaster pickup, the bridge pickup being replaced. You can replace it, but replace it with another bridge pickup. And that's if you want to know about Scripture, tune in to me every Sunday, and that's First Riffians verses 12.8, 12:8. So, but this guitar is delightful, and there's a lot of people watching me.
Steve and Eric and Joey.
Steve, which Steve? I have a lot of Steve.
Broadway Steve.
Oh, Broadway Steve. Steve. Steve in New York. That's fantastic. He's an inspiration to me. Wonderful. Okay. I should play. I'm not going to be able to play for a month and a half, so I think, I want to show you something. I'm probably going to mess up on this, but it's okay. I want to share something with you. When I've had the pleasure recently of working with Ada Dyer. She is a fantastic vocalist. My colleague and partner Stephen Williams put a group together called the Unlawful Assembly about shortly before the COVID. And we take old spirituals and reimagine them. And we also play songs that the spirituals inspired. Along the pathway, Stephen recommended that we start working with Ada Dyer. Ada is a wonderful soul style singer. She came up in the church. She's from Chicago, and now she's sung. She moved to New York, as many people do from other parts, and try to make her way in the arts, and she's done quite well. She's now singing with Bruce Springsteen on his tours. She's starting rehearsal with him this week for the big tour that's coming up. It's called the No Kings Tour. I suggest you guys go and see this. But Ada was touring with me exactly a week ago. We finished the tour of the Northeast, and Ada said, that she was interested in doing some songs that tribute some of the people that she's played with. We played a song that Bruce Springsteen does, and we also played a Roberta Flack song, and the song was "Killing Me Softly." And when she suggested that, I kind of privately cringed because I just it reminded me of one of those songs that I want to record someday under the auspices of songs I'm sick of, and these are not bad songs; they're great songs, but they're just songs that we've all heard gazillions of times. I love the way the sun's coming in. This started as one of those mornings to where it was just like dark gray cotton balls, huge cotton balls, just kind of moving in from the west, and there was a chill in the air, and you knew that the sky was going to break with rain, and that was the way it felt this morning. But now the sun's teasing us just a little bit, but I think the sun's going to lose out. But it's one thing I love about this room. Oh boy, where was I? Oh, Killing Me Softly. So here's how a lot of people ask about how I approach my guitar playing style and so on. And first of all, I don't play with a pick. I just use my hands. I don't want any piece of plastic getting between me and y'all. And certainly don't want a piece of plastic getting between me and the strings. And I was surprised when I made that transition. I have transitioned from plastic to flesh. When I transitioned, I was surprised at how little detail I lost. I was afraid that all brightness was going to just go away, and I'd just have to turn up the treble. It is not the case, folks. And as a matter of fact, there's so much more variation in the tone you can get when you use your fingers. You can move your fingers closer to the bridge, which you can of course do with a pick, but you can use a little bit of your fingernail, you can use less of your fingernail, and you can turn your finger to the side. Just so much more subtleties. Again, this is stuff I learned from my father with his model railroading. The subtleties make it all worth it. And if you're serious about what you do, you notice the subtleties and you address them and you customize them. Customize the subtleties in your life, and you'll feel like your surroundings are of you. I think that's what we are entitled to do when we live a life. And these are things you can do if you have no money, if you have money. You can make your bathroom, you can make your kitchen look and function to your liking to the extent that you can afford to do it. And look, there were times in my life when I had absolutely no money, but I still customized my kitchen and my guitars to my liking to the extent that I was able to afford to do it. So that is living an artistic life. That is writing your life, in my opinion. So getting back to Killing Me Softly, when after I cringed privately about this song, I thought, oh geez, I don't really like this song. So when the warning light goes off when I don't like an assignment, and I take on the responsibility of that being my problem. That's not anybody else's problem. So I have to figure a way to change my relationship to that song. And the way I do it is I roll up my sleeves and I learn the song from the original version. If you're going to play a song that's as iconic as Killing Me Softly, start at the beginning, start at the first version we all heard, and then go from there. You will hear the string section. You'll hear the way the bass player plays, what he plays, or he or she plays under those chords. You will listen to the drummer's feel, if there is a drummer. If there's not a drummer, you're still going to hear the feel of it. Who's providing that feel, and so on. So I want you to suffer through my version of Killing Me Softly. So what I do to learn a song is to learn the melody, of course, first. Then I learn the harmony, meaning the chords, the way more than one note manifests the song. And then I address the rhythm. I do that all with one person, and that person is me, Walter John Parks, version 4.0. So I do it my way, but I learn the song from its source. And after I've learned the song from its source, and after I've memorized it, then I am, what's the word I'm looking for? Equipped to accompany somebody as great as Ada Dyer. And unfortunately, we played that song a little too early in my learning curve, and I made some mistakes. But such is the nature of live performance. So let's see here. I've got some effects. All right, let's see what I do with this.
You want this one?
Yeah, give me some showbiz. That's fine. I'm not going to sing, but let me get that. You're hearing a little mellotron there. Let's see. I'm not liking this sound. No, everything's good, Marco. It's my fault, so. Actually, let me get some of the extortion off of it. No, you're good. Hold on a second. It's got too much distortion. A song like this doesn't need all that stuff. Look, this is live radio. You just hold on a minute. A little safe, but I can't see my pedal board here. All right. You don't need any of this stuff to play a song. Let's see. Okay, here we go again. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Oh, this is terrible. All right, let me try it one more time. Good Lord. I didn't play it this bad a week ago, so try to play it again. So, oh my gosh, I'm breaking all the rules of show business. Don't be like me. for some reason the overall volume came down. I think that's part of the problem. I'm just not hearing it the way I was a second ago. Give me. Okay, all right. Well, take the volume on my headphone return on the machine that's over there, and just turn that up for me, please. Thanks. I just can't hear it. It's just a bunch of click and clack at the field. It sounds like paper clips in a coffee can. That's good. So here we go. Now I'm going to take you through that, through all my mistakes. So what I'm doing is I'm attempting to play the melody and the rhythm and the harmony by myself. So the song really doesn't have that. That's more of a Latin thing, but I found that was important to feature when I was manifesting this by myself. So after I learned the chords, it's like basically when I'm singing. So let me back up. I learned the song that way, or I came close to learning it, but you can't play it like that when you're accompanying somebody, because the singer is going, I heard you. What's the next chord? I heard it. I'm just blanking already. Oh, sad. I can't even remember. So basically you have to play the chord and give the singer room to do it. So the chord is a B minor. Oh, yeah, the second chord is an E flat 7. So B flat minor, E flat 7, then a D flat, repeat that, B flat minor, E flat 7, B minor. Okay, so you have to stay out of the way of the singer. This is the most embarrassing thing I've ever done in my life. It's just, whatever, it's what it is. Maybe it's a good thing that I'm not going to be able to play for a month. You won't have to listen to this stuff. Again, here's the treatment, finger style. So I got that far. So I'm catching the melody while I'm playing the chord. E flat 7, which I make an E flat 9. Now that's not in the original version, but that is a move that I learned from spirituals and hymns. So I'm just going to get geeky just for a second. The transition goes from a 7 chord to a 1 chord, a 5 to a 1. But the bass note, if you were playing in country music, would be boom, 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 boom. But we're not playing country music. It's a little hipper. And so E7, you can also make a transition, a setup coming down from the top of a chord. Boom, 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 boom. So you can do it that way. So what I've done is it's an E flat 7 chord. So it's an E flat. The root of it is an E flat triad. So I throw in a G because my destination is an A flat. So the G is just a half step lower than the A flat. So I move up into that A flat. This is not that complex, y'all. But the G can convey all the properties of the E flat, but if you just put the G in the bass. So check it out. This is an E flat chord, and I go, can y'all hear that? Bum, bum, bum. So that's all I'm doing. It's a gospel move. So one of these days, I've been asked recently a lot to explain my technique, my approach to music, my approach to guitar playing, and it's just so challenging for me. It's one of the things I really want to try to get good at, but I'm terrible at it. But I'm laying it out to y'all. Let's see if I can do something that I actually know how to do. So I've got the pleasure this afternoon of recording a wonderful singer named Lynn O'Brien. Lynn sadly is moving from St. Louis. She's been here for 5 years or so. Around the COVID she moved in. She came in from Minneapolis, one of the best voices I've ever heard. She reminds me a lot of Phoebe Snow. Y'all remember Phoebe Snow from the 70s, Poetry Man and so on. So Lynn suggested that we do Bridge Over Troubled Waters. Again, it made me cringe. I was like, I'd heard that song too much. It was a song that I was sick of, so I learned it. And now we got that version going. A local drummer said we should probably do that in 12/8. Lynn liked the idea. So now that's what I'm doing with Ada Dyer and the Unlawful Assembly. So check out what we do with this. So it's a 12/8 thing. So this is how I started. Setting up a sus chord. Here's the lyrics. bridge over troubled water. So I want to take you through the path of learning that. So again, the first thing I did is I went to the Simon and Garfunkel version, and I never knew. I think these Sunday morning broadcasts are going to be more like confessionals to me. They're just myself laying my process bare to you, for good and for the good and the bad. I never really got, that this song was really a gospel song. It's a spiritual song. It's got all the spiritual moves in it, and I think that's why it appealed to so many people, is because it brought us home to church. Those of us who came up in the church or spent a lot of time in church, everybody latched onto that song. Black folks, white folks, it brought us together, and that's what music and the arts are doing, especially in this country right now. Regardless of who you voted for, regardless of what side of the aisle, what side of the tracks you live on, everybody likes a good groove. Everybody likes a good song, and it's not even something you can elaborate upon sometimes. It just feels right. These songs just soothe. This one, Amazing Grace, for instance, they soothe without the lyrics. And then you put the lyrics in there and it just brings it home. But so I'd learned, the version that I learned was from the original, listening to the original piano version. And I love to source from pianos and translate that to the guitar. So all of that stuff in the middle, no, come bridge over troubled water. That's if you heard the piano version of that, you go, okay, yeah, it's bridge over. But it sounds unique and interesting because it's all of a sudden on the guitar, and it sounds kind of cool. So, but the challenge is, if you really play those piano chords accurately and you manifest all those notes, then you start playing the notes differently on the guitar, and that's kind of the challenge that I was having with Killing Me Softly, is that I'm playing versions of chords differently than I've ever played them in trying to play that song, in trying to serve the rhythm, the harmony, and the melody at the same time. And I haven't been playing it that long, so my brain was shutting down, embarrassingly so. But the wonderful thing is you start making C sharp minor chords like that. I mean, that's not how it is in the Mel Bay book. It's like this. Can y'all see that? So I'm taking advantage of those wonderful open notes because I need that melody, and I want it to ring, and I also want to be able to go maybe, or I just want to be able to do this. Take my fingers and bend them a little bit. You can't do that when you're making a bar chord. So again, the details, and I'm writing this song, starting to write it my way, but I find these things because I'm trying to stay loyal to the original version. So I went all original chords. And check it out. What the heck was that? That is the beginning of the bridge, and it's the part that happens right before "Hang on, Silver Girl," or whatever the words are. So it's C sharp, half diminished or diminished, and then it goes. Excuse me, that was a C, and then it's a C sharp, an descending line chromatically, and I love that. Hear that movement? That's so wonderful. No guitar playing, no book that you ever buy from the store, probably nothing you find online is going to show you how to play this song on the guitar the way the original recording was done. I mean, maybe, but I really doubt it. So this is, it's forensics. It's like it's really it's like solving a mystery, and maybe that's why I don't like to play games. You know, like board games, because that's all I do with the guitar. Is I solve mysteries, and so how do I go boom 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 boom? So, and you're going, oh wait a minute, but that's not what the bass player did in the original version. Boom boom boom. He went boom, but the implied harmony is bum 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 boom. It's okay, that note's in there because that's the major third of the chord that the bass player does imply or plays. So that's a I don't know, A sharp, B flat. I'm terrible with music theory, but it doesn't matter. I know how to get what I want. So bum 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 bum. Where's that note? How are we gonna get that feel in there? It's right here. When I go ah, there it is. So it's some bum 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 bum. It's still in there. It's in the chord. See, y'all can rest easy now. You know, anytime I know I sinned. I sinned this Sunday morning. I played "Killing Me Softly" horribly, but at least I preserved that B flat for you in that chord. So and then they go to all the way up back to a B. It's so wonderful. So the F sharp leads to a B. That's just the way it does in music harmony, especially if it's an F sharp 7. Well, so but they're going to fool you. They're going to play an E over a B. It's a suspended chord. You hear the suspense of that? It's not resolved. You know, this would be resolved. But they go. And then they go. But check it out. Hear how they play with the time. Bum, straight and bum, 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 bum. Here we go again. It's in 12/8, so it's, or 6/8. Again, drummers can set me straight. I don't know. So it's like, so the drummer would be going. I think that's done. That's like a 3 over a 4 or something like that. They're playing with the time, but it's still in. Dum bum 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 bum. I don't know what it is, but it's math, folks. It's putting 3 beats over the space of 4. I have no business teaching anything. You guys don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Just scoop up my passion. That's if that's the least that I accomplish in these sessions. Just scoop up my passion. So check it out. So, sus, root, A. Back to the beginning. Back in 12/8. Sus. And then the singer goes, hang on, silver girl. And we're back in the song. So, anyway, I learned that song because I memorized the song because I learned it from the source. And I played it over and over and over again. And I did not use a chart ever when I was playing that song live. And I hate charts. I don't like, to me, if you're reading a chart, it's live, especially if you're playing pop music, which is not really that hard to memorize. It just takes some time. I, I'm gonna get in trouble here, but these are the kinds of things that you come to me for. Honesty. If you're playing a chart, you're reading a chart, especially for pop music. I mean, I understand with classical music, it's too much information. But if you're pop music, I think it's disrespectful slightly to to read a chart. It's not disrespectful to the audience, it's disrespectful for the singer, you know? Because I need to be, I learned from playing with Richie Havens, and I played in big venues, Carnegie Hall, Madison Square Garden, the Glastonbury Festival. I need to be concentrating on Richie. That's my job. I'm supporting Richie. If I'm playing guitar behind Ada Dyer, and she is so great, folks, please come out and see the Unlawful Assembly in the fall when we're touring with Ada again. Out of respect for Ada, I've got to memorize this. I need to be looking. Here's Ada. I need to be going. And Ada looks over at me because she's telling me when she's going to start singing. I don't need to be looking at the chart. That, folks, let me ask you. How many of you all have made? I'm just really going to go out on a limb. Do any of y'all make love ever? Do you read a chart when you're making love? I mean, do you have a little book by you? Now's the time to do, whatever to bring this thing to a conclusion. No, you don't read a chart. Nobody wants a chart in the bedchamber. Don't bring a chart to a pop gig. No, all right, that's enough of my preaching. No, actually, that's not enough of my preaching. It's Sunday morning. I'm going to keep preaching. Are we done yet, Margot? Or is it just as long as I want to go on?
It's as long as you want to go.
Okay.
It's 10 o'clock.
It's 10 o'clock, so I have talked for an hour. Listen, I want to tell y'all what's going to happen for the rest of my time with you here. I'm going to be doing these things through the end of May. No, through the end of April. I'm going to have hand surgery this coming Tuesday in New York. And so I won't be able to play until the end of April. In Florida, I start playing. No, in Connecticut, we have a date in New Milford, Connecticut, and something, I think possibly Hadley, Massachusetts, or somewhere around there in one of those old mill towns. What is it, Martin?
It's Beverly,
Beverly, Massachusetts. Myself and Stephen Williams are playing with the Unlawful Assembly. Ada's not going to be on that tour, but we just go and do different stuff. I mean, we do the same repertoire, but we do it a different way. Please come see us. It's kind of a rare chance to see the Unlawful Assembly in that version. It's stripped down. I get it. It gets a little bit more swampy because that's what I do left to my own devices. And where was I? In Stockbridge. We're playing at the Red Lion, that old inn in Stockbridge, Massachusetts. And I'm just reminded of Norman Rockwell. I think he's from Stockbridge. What a wonderful town, and it's going to be nice to be there in May. And then I go from those three on, and I'm also playing Hoboken at the Social. I forget, it's got a number, 503 Social. And that'll be a solo show in Hoboken. Just look on my website, walterparks.com. And then I get in a car and I drive all the way down I-95, the wonderful little quaint little road. It's a gravel road. It's a wonderful drive in the country. So they take I-95 all the way down to my home state of Florida, and I'm going to be playing some dates down there. Margo, where am I playing? Oh, I'm playing in St. Augustine, Florida. They've asked me to do something that is the Gamble Rogers Wildwoods Waterworks. I'm sorry, jeez. Again, don't come to me for accurate information about anything. You're only here for passion. I'm the worst publicity guy ever. I don't know why you guys listen to me. It's like, but anyway, so please go to my website, St. Augustine, Florida. It's where the old fort is. It's where they claim that the conquistadors discovered the notion that America was discovered by the conquistadors is ridiculous, but celebrate it anyway, and that's what they do in St. Augustine. Go to the Fountain of Youth. Another benefit of me playing in St. Augustine is that the Fountain of Youth is right down the road, and let me tell you. If my concert doesn't bring you back to your youthful days, then the Fountain of Youth, drinking from the fountain, certainly will. And and then I'm also going to be playing at the Florida Folk Festival. I love the Florida Folk Festival. I'm going to be doing some of my hollers, some of the music that I discovered and rearranged from the Library of Congress archives that was made out in the Okefenokee Swamp, the headwaters of the Swanee River. Along the banks of which is the concert at the Florida Folk Festival. So please check in with that. But between now and then, I'm going to be visiting with you every Sunday. And I promise not to play any more guitar because obviously my fingers or my mind is not working in top shape right now, but I will get it anyway. I played Bridge Over Troubled Waters pretty good. So anyway, here's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be delving into some literature that I find interesting. I'm going to be finishing my book that I am writing about my time with Richie Havens. It was a wonderful part of my life. For 10 years, I was Richie's sideman. Richie was the first musician to play at the Woodstock Festival in 1969. So I'm going to be finishing my book of stories and lessons learned from my time with Richie Havens. I hope to be able to actually sell you a copy of this book in the fall when you see me tour with Ada Dyer and the Unlawful Assembly. You will also see me do some shows called Woodstock Variations in August. They're not yet booked, but that's up to you guys. If you want to see me do some really cool versions of Woodstock songs, book me. I'll come to your town. It doesn't matter if it's Des Moines or if it's in New York City. I'll be there. So my book with Richie between now and through the end of April. Also, I am going to be taking some of my father's old drawings. Can you all see these? This is on this sort of parchment type clear paper. And my father was an architect. I'm gonna show you this. You can see this a little better. But these are handmade drawings. This particular drawing, and I have thousands of these. This one says possible office development. And my father has drawn these straight lines so that he can put his address, the address of the possible development upon, and then he's drawn these straight lines so that he can put his inscription and signature. But this is all done in pencil with rulers and his own hand. They don't do things like this anymore. So I have all these drawings, and my what do you call it when you have a second mother? I always get this wrong. My mother-in-law, stepmother. My stepmother didn't know what to do with all the drawings that my father left when he passed away. And I don't know why he didn't take these into heaven. These were the coffin was big enough. But my father was a very big man, and they could have fit. But anyway, they were left, and I am going to interact with these. There are thousands of them. I'm going to paint with and upon my father's drawings and give them a new life. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Some of them I will frame, but there's too many of them. And I just thought, I'm going to start painting with them in transparent paint. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it. I love painting. I paint with enamel and oil base, so that may be a problem with this stuff. But here's another one. But look at the attention to detail here. I mean, it's just, these are pencil drawings. Surely this took them an hour, and this never saw the light of day. This was a possible office development. Look at this one. This is another project that says suggested modifications to Bivens residence. This is what architects used to have to do. My father would have to do something, come up with something this elaborate just to get a gig, just to maybe get a gig. And I bitch and moan about having to change the pixel ratio and the dimensions of a photograph to send to us to load it up to a website so that I can get a gig at a club or something. Or my agent does that, and I love my agent. But these are the sorts of tortures that you have to do to get a gig in the modern world. You got to have your pixel ratios and the amount of characters in your bio, and everybody has to customize everything. But this is what my father had to do just to maybe get a gig. This piece of paper, this is an original, done by one of those real thin pencils that would break often probably, but not for him. And he had to impress his potential client with his concepts here, and they might or might not hire him, but he had to impress them with the what this is my father's telling them, I care enough about your particular project to put my time into it, to show you how I would dedicate my attention to you, would that you were to hire me. That's what this is about. And we don't do that in the modern world so much. But darn it, I did it yesterday. A filmmaker that I work with on occasion, Nate Townsend, said that he was going to be doing a piece and he needed the national anthem. He just wanted it kind of bluesy. So I put 4 hours into it, just like my father did with his drawings. And I learned the national anthem in a different way. And it's a wonderful project that he's doing. It's one of those get out to vote things, but he's also in the process of conveying that message. There's an interaction between people who are kind of on the right and people who are on the left, and they're kind of coming together and figuring out how they can talk to one another. And my version of the national anthem is going to be underneath that. And I briefly saw Nate's comments. So he wants me to change some things, and I knew that was going to be the case, but I gave him something to work with. And it was my version of what my father did. So that's partly what I'm going to be doing during my time, and I'll show those from time to time. I'm also going to be quoting from books, some interesting literature, and I think I'm going to leave you with this Sunday morning. I found this fascinating. This is a book that is barely holding itself together. It's called Harvey's Revised English Grammar, Harvey's Language Course. Harvey must have been the guy that came up with this. I don't know if you can see this as well. It's just difficult to see the text on it. I don't know. Yeah, Margot's coming in there and getting it a little bit better. Anyway, all right. My great-grandfather, if I said my grandfather, forgive me. My great-grandfather used this book in Seagrove, North Carolina. And it's dated December 9th, 1897. And look at his hand. Look at he was a young boy then, but look at this script. I love that. I think that's partly where I got my artistically rebellious ways. But I want to take you to page 1. Page 1, English grammar. Number 1, definitions. Now, this is an elementary school grammar book. Now listen to this. Number one, a word. A word is the sign of an idea, period. Let me repeat that. A word is the sign of an idea. That right there, you could almost teach a whole course on just what the heck that means. Number two, language is the expression of thought by means of words, period. It may be either spoken or written, period. Spoken language is the expression of ideas by the voice, period. Written language is the expression of ideas by use of written or printed characters representing sounds. Number three, grammar treats of the principles and usages of language. And that was the way they can... Grammar treats of the principles. Now that's almost like Old English. I guess it is. Grammar treats. I guess what they're trying to say is grammar refers to, or grammar elaborates upon the principles and usages of language. Number four, English grammar teaches how to speak and write the English language correctly. Number five, and I'll leave you with this. English grammar is divided into four parts: orthography, etymology, syntax, and prosody or prosody. And this is what they started with. And this whole book is a discourse. It just opens up on all of these principles. Conjugation of verbs, the indicative mode, the subjunctive mode, the potential mode, the past perfect mode. These poor people. I mean, in one hand, we can look back and say much more was required of them back then than is required of us now. On the other hand, you can see why people strayed from this, and this went out of favor because, at least for a young mind, they don't have the attention span. And speaking of attention span, I think I've stretched the outer limits of y'all's attention span in staying with me today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing me make a complete unprofessional of myself. And the problem with modern media is that you can't take it back. It's out there in the world, and you guys can have fun. Listen, when you're in St. Louis, which is where I am, have coffee at the Noteworthy Coffee House. That is on Olive Street, near Olive, roughly near Olive and what's that? Yeah, but there's another street that's more Boyle, basically in the intersection of Olive and Boyle. The coffee house was started by Jackson Pianos. Jackson Pianos used to work with my friend Tom Townsend, who started the what's the name of the Pianos for People? Good Lord. Pianos for People provides pianos, refurbishes pianos, and provides pianos for people who can't afford it and need lessons. They provide lessons. So if you have a little bit of extra money, please contact Pianos for People in St. Louis and help them get pianos to people who can't afford music. It's changing lives, so many lives in the St. Louis area. And this is a town that's trying hard to bridge cultures, races, economic echelons, and Pianos for People. And when you're in town, come look me up, walterparks.com. We'll go have coffee, and we'll go to Noteworthy Coffee House. And the guy who runs Jackson Pianos, who refurbishes pianos, also runs this coffee house. He will not let you tip because he believes in paying his employees a living wage. And he believes that he doesn't want to shortchange them, literally. He wants them to be confident and secure in the job they have, And what an interesting and generous concept. I want to stay in with you as long as possible, but I just got to go and prepare for my recording that I'm getting ready to do with Lynn O'Brien. Until next week, until next Sunday, tell people about me, about the show. Tell people about this guy who gets on the air uh, and makes mistakes. I'm Walter Parks. This is Hymns and Hollers. I didn't do any hymns. I didn't do any hollers. But hey, next time I can do some hollers for sure because I won't be able to play the guitar. So I promise once we get the showbiz down, I can do some hymns for you and some hollers. Bye bye. Next time.